RZ. My name's Stan, and today we're going to work on the little Toolmaker's Vice again for the What's in Your Box giveaway. And gee, which one is it? This one's actually mine, so this is the big brother. And this is the one we've been working on here. And now what we have fitted today is this movable jaw. I have got literally one drop of whey oil on this thing, and it just glides. And you can actually feel the meniscus of the oil sucking it down to this surface here. So it's actually very hard to get off, and after you break the seal, it comes off. And getting it back on, it has to go on very squarely, but after it's on, she just glides. So it's a good tight fit, no slop side to side, and those are the rails we had to grind. Now I've as of this shooting here, this bottom is ground, as are those side rails here. And I'm going to show you how I did that. But there's your, it's cold this morning, so that white oil's a little thick. So I'm going to show you what I did to dress the wheel. And I just use a standard wheel, nothing fancy, you know. We started with a wheel, and our work is looks like this. Can you see that? Let me shove some of this stuff out of the way. Yeah, there you go. I'll actually bring you in a little bit closer here. How's that? Okay, what we wanted to do is we wanted to put our part down on the mag one time and not remove it for the final grind. It's okay to remove it, test fit, put it back on, but then you want to do all the grinds all at the same time, which included this surface, this surface, this surface, this surface, and this surface, all on a final, which we were able to do. Now, to use a standard wheel to side wheel, you know, we dress the bottom and then we dress the sides very squarely. But what we do right after that, after everything's square and clean on these three surfaces here, here, and here, is we come in with a, I use just a little carborundum stone, little tiny carborundum stone, and by hand we hourglass this this wheel out to this edge like this and like this. If you do a full contact with the wheel and leave the wheel very square, it's going to get really, really hot. You want to go all the way down as deep as you can, but you want just that leading edge, just that little sharp edge to go in and make your cut. The wheel's going to degrade in the blink of an eye. You might only get a few thousandths side wheeling like this, but you're guaranteed a cool running cut, and you're guaranteed a nice straight finish. And this is the dress that I use when I'm doing maybe the fence, when I'm dressing up the fence on the magnetic plate. That gets dressed quite often. Every time the fence gets changed or unbolted for some reason, and bolted back in, it never goes back in the same way, and you always need to take a couple tenths off of the rear fence. So dressing your wheel like that by hand, always leave this bottom edge. I leave it, if this was exaggerated right here, that edge would look like this. And just leave this little square bit right here is where you initially ran it in with the diamond. This up here is all handwork, and it's just to provide clearance, so that this is the only cutting surface. If I had to guess, I would say this little flat right there is about 10 thousandths. It's not much. And I just do it by eye, and you'll get good at it the more you do it, but you need to be able to see. So good light from all directions. I actually wear safety glasses. These are 2.0s, Coke bottles that I put on so I can get in there and see the wheel and don't worry about stuff flying in my eyes. So you can get cheater lenses in the safety glasses. So get yourself some if you need to be able to see. But being able to see what you're doing when you're grinding is just paramount. It's just you got to be able to do it. So that's how we did the the movable jaw on this. I'm gonna get you in a little closer and show you that the grind and all the fence work and everything. And now that it's fitted to the vise, we can continue the rest of the grind because everything is based off of how this goes onto this. We need to get this square with this jaw, and we're actually gonna get these sides paralleled up, but then we're gonna remove it and we're gonna make this jaw maybe 10 thousandths thinner than this, so that if the vise is sitting down on some work, the jaw can still move and it's not pinned down to the working surface. So these jaws are always slightly narrower than these. So and then top equal, we keep the top straight with each other, so we'll do a quick grind on the whole top after it's all bolted together. So let's get going on it. I'll show you the wheel and how we did the base of this. All right. Okay, and here's the setup I used to grind the base, the fence, and the top. Now, to get my extremities after touch off on the right and left shoulder, I made reference marks at touch off here on my wheel. In a coincidence, they were very close to each other, but that way I knew how much I was pulling out of it. And I'd only pull about a half a thou out at a time doing the side wheel. I don't know whether you can see the profile. Try to shine a light on it. It's pretty blurry. But that's the hourglass profile on that wheel. And with a flat bottom, we were able to grind the base, the tops of these fences, and the little side fences. So obviously it's already done. It's only here for demonstration purposes right now. But I did all the grinds without moving the part, all the finals. We'd do a side grind, take it off and fit it. Side grind, take it off and fit it until it fit on the base correctly. And then we brought it back, plopped it down, and did all the final grinds on it all at the same time, so we know they're all parallel and all equal to each other. All right, now we can move on to some of these other surfaces. Well, as long as we know we've got a clean base down here, I went ahead and plopped it down. It's secure on the mag, no problem. And we're going to go ahead and parallel up this top. All I did on my initial was kind of rub this around on a stone and knock the burrs and stuff off to get to stick to the plate properly. Did my bottom grind that I demonstrated earlier, and now we're going to get this top paralleled up, and we've got two parallel surfaces to work off of. Okay, so now what do we know? We know we got the bottom flat, and all these little surfaces are all parallel with each other because these were all on the same grind. And then we flipped it and we paralleled this top piece here. And now we plop it in the movable jaw in a bigger vise, and when we clamp up, we know we're going to be square this way, but we have no point of reference this way because these are all untrustworthy surfaces. So you just take a block that you know and trust, and I just dropped it in there because I want to reference this as vertical. I already know my vise jaw is good, so drop that in there. That's why a toolmaker's vise is important to have all sides square. You never know what's going to be used as a reference surface. So here we're referencing the top of the vise to a known parallel surface with a known square block up against that ledge. Tilt this thing side to side until we're square here. I actually had a little clamp on here holding it all together. Drop it in, tighten your toolmaker's vise. Now we can do, you'll notice I'm hanging out slightly here. So I'll be able to do this side and then just flop the whole vise over on its side this way, and I can do this side. At that point I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 square sides with each other, and the rest is all downhill from there. So let's go get our grind on and finish this up. Okay, grind looks good. Let's flip it. Clean, clean, clean. Wipe, wipe, wipe. And we're just going to come in sideways here. And I think I got enough wheel left to finish this little guy off here. What I do is I pull down just till I hear it drag, and I'm going to pull it up just about a half thou. And usually when you come across, you're just skimming the top. So let's see where that takes us. I'm barely seeing any sparks at all. We'll go ahead and finish this pass. Make sure we don't have any high spots are going to jump out at us. Doing good. Half thou. And back. Half thou, we'll call it quits. I'm just going to give it a little dusting on the way across. Okay, and I'm going to let it spark out on the way back. Okay, and that's good enough for a rough grind. We got to come back to these anyways to thin them up after they're on the vise. So let's get this, get the vise jaw out of the vise jaw and get it over. And we got 2 more sides to do. So let's get those done. Okay, so we're back from the grinder, and we've ground here and here. We did the flip with this hanging out the side, and all we did was establish some rough grinding surfaces to measure off of. And now we've got the actual meat of the sandwich here. We've got the jaw that has to line up with the other one, but now we've got a surface to reference to. So we're going to make sure the bed of our vise is very clean, and this is very clean. And all we have to do is drop it in here on the bed. I'm going to go this way. Drop it in here on the bed of the vise, make sure it's firmly seated, tighten this, and grind that top. And then we're going to go ahead and go for a final on this. I might change the wheel and do the V-grooving at the same time and get that done as well. But let's get this top ground up. We're going to go ahead and go for a final here. We got a final on the bottom. We can dress the wheel and after the rough grind and get a final on this, and then all that's left are these outside surfaces, which have to, like I said before, have to be narrower so the vise jaws will work and all that. So let's get this face done. Okay, we've got the wheel dressed at a perfect 90-degree included angle, nice sharp point. We're going to get over here with the fixed jaw and or the movable jaw, sorry, and start grinding those V grooves. There's not a whole lot of material to hog up. It's basically just a cleanup as long as the machine work was done accurately. But one way or the other, we'll get them straight. All right, let's get going on that. Okay, so the wheel's dressed, 45. I'm going to roll this out to the side, and I'm hoping you can see the line down in there. The light's not doing any good, but I touched off, and it's got a little shiny spot right at the bottom of that V-groove. So that tells me my wheel's coming down pretty straight. I've locked the table. All I'm doing is just traversing across here. I think you might have caught a glimpse of there down the bottom, the little shiny spot. All right, so we're going to come up on the wheel. I'm just going to do, that's about a 2.5 tenths, a down feed, pass. And we're just going for a full clean. I'm going handheld here just so you guys can get kind of a feel of what's happening. Okay, we're starting to see some cleaning. And another 2.5. Starting to see a bigger shiny spot up the center. another 2.5 tenths. Okay, looking better. Still needs more. Still looking pretty good, but we still need more. We might have 5 thousandths or so into this before it's all over with. Okay, nice. Run it back and forth a few times, let it spark out a little bit. Okay, we're getting better. This is good, me doing it handheld, because it gives a part time to cool down in between passes. When you're side wheeling like this, you got a lot of surface area that's in contact, and you've got the capability of really building up some heat. Okay, we're getting there. It's got this little bit over here. This side's all the way out to the edge, so this side's pretty done. Shouldn't take much more. Okay, looking good. Oh, I was looking through the viewfinder. I'm not done over here. Okay. Yeah, this side still needs more, as does that right there. All right. So all we got left is right there. Still with the 2.5 tenths down feeds. Still hasn't got it. Check our temperature. bad. Just a shade more. Right there. Everything else looks really good. All right, nice and cool. That was a nice slow pass to let it kind of spark out there. And develop a finish. Okay, let's flip the vise and do this other little fella right here. Okay, well, we got our vise flipped around and we got it set for a little bit of contact. I think you can see in there the shiny spots in there where we just touched. And after we were done with this groove, I set my 0 on my hand wheel. So that's 50 per rev. So when I get to 0 there, I'm going to be at the same depth as the other V grooves, so they will be equal in every way. I'm hoping it cleans up by the time it gets there, but we're going to find out. And we're doing the same thing. These are little 2.5 down feeds. Much less real estate to cover though, so not as much chance of it getting hot. We've almost got a full clean there. I've got 3 thousandths to go. Okay, we're coming up on 0. This is the last little bit. At this point, both of those V grooves will be the same depth. Check our heat. Feels good. Just let that spark out a little bit. And there's our finished grooves. If you look straight down on it, the everything converges perfectly in that center, so it's pretty cool looking when you're done. All right, so that's the face of the jaw and the V grooves. Let's go measure the V grooves, make sure we got them in straight. We'll just hang a rod out the side, out both sides, and use a surface gauge and make sure it's ground parallel. Nothing worse than making a tool wrong. All right, let's go check it over on the plate. Okay, we got our V grooves ground in our vise, and we're just going to give it a quick check. This is just a dead end mill,
but the shanks on an old end mill work good for measuring. So we're coming up on our high spot. We are 3 above. Let's get a 0 there. And we're below. Above. Below, above, below. Alright, I'm calling that a good 0. Alright, now we just switch it over to this other side and try the other side of the vise. Three-tenths. Yep, yeah, that's about 2. Yeah, 2/10 over what? Over a 3-inch vise. 3/10 over 3 inches, I'll take it. Okay, so our movable jaw is done on the face. It's done on the bottom. We're happy with the bottom. All that's left now is grind the sides, and that's pretty much cosmetic. And this little guy is done. All right.
Okay, well, we've finished up the movable jaw. Everything on the outside here was purely cosmetic. What I did do, and what irritates me about some toolmakers' vices, all the ones that I've bought over the years, I've ground them myself if they aren't already ground. And what bugs me about them is when you set these vices on their side, when this jaw is the same width as this jaw, you can't open and close the vise. So these are both undercut by 12 thousandths. So this jaw is 12 thousandths narrower than the fixed jaw, so that it does facilitate using it on its side. And the rest of the outside was just more of the same, a little bit of polishing. I've taken it over to the sink and given it a good wash and stoned all the edges down. I can't tell you how many times I've cut myself on this vise already, on this little go around. But there's your V grooves and the fixed jaw, or the movable jaw, I'm sorry. Here's the bed of the vise. And you can see where I've kind of run it in, kind of lapped it in there. And here's the movement on it with no oil, nothing. So, and no play. It's just a real nice fit. Okay, but that's the toolmaker's vise. This is heading to Brad Jacobs' next stop. I have the spherical washer, but I guess he's still got the bolt, the pin, and the yoke out there, because I sure didn't get them. So I guess he's got those out there, and this is going to him. And congratulations to whoever wins this. This is a very well-traveled vise. It's been on Adam Booth's milling machine. It's been on Tom Lipton's surface grinder. It's been on my surface grinder. This part's been on Brad Jacobs' milling machine. So it's very well traveled, and that's not to mention the hardening that it's gone through and gotten shipped around. We could have bought 10 vices for the amount of shipping we've spent on mailing this thing around the country. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this segment and this little series. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.